Hello everybody, here's how you use every single sketch constraint in Autodesk Inventor. That means I'm going to be covering up here these 12. Here's how you do it. So, starting off with the coincident constraint, this is basically says, take this point and set it to that point. So for example, if you have two circles, you can set this point to this point. If you have a line and a circle, you can say, I want this point, and now the points are stuck together. So if you really have ever 2 points that you want to stick together, you would use that. Okay. Next up is the collinear constraint. So this here says, let's say that you have some shape like this, and you have another line over here like this. If you click line to line, they now lie on the same line. And by on the same line, I mean like you could draw a line that now passes through both of them. This is just nice if you need geometry to line up better, or if you're making something very slanted. After that, there is the concentric constraint. This here is very useful because if you have a circle and you have an arc, and you want them to share the same center, like for example, if you're making like a turret, like for FRC, and you want to go and have the distance between like the middle drum and like maybe an outside arc to be the same, you would want to set center to center. And if I lock this, which I will teach in a sec, then you can just see that the centers always line up, meaning that the area between any point on this circle and like straight up and down, like this to this, will always be the same, which is very, very nice. And then next up is the locking constraint, which I did just use. What it does is it just says, basically, I'm too lazy to go and constrain this line properly, I'm just going to lock it. And this here just locks the line. It can get longer and shorter, but it will never be moving left to right. If you were, for example, to take a circle and you lock the center point, then the circle can no longer move because the center point is locked. But since you didn't lock or dimension the radius and diameter of it, it can still move. So then you would have to go and dimension that to get that all locked. Okay, next up is the parallel constraint. This one is very simple. It's if you have two lines, and you want them to be parallel, you click it, and now they are parallel. So that's about it. If you ever just have some weird lines and you want them to be parallel, you use that. Then there's the perpendicular constraint. This I'm actually going to give an example with an arc because that's how I use this the most. So for example, if you have an arc like this, and you say, I want this arc to go and meet here and make a 90-degree angle, which is very, very common, at least in what I do. You would select arc, then you do the line, and now look at that, this is going straight down. You may notice though that they're not lined up, and so there actually is a button for that. Remember, this constraint here, you can select this point to this line. Now it will constrain the point to the line. And if you want to stop it from sliding around, you can then lock the point. And now it will no longer slide around. So as you can see, you can kind of bunch these together. But yeah, that is how that one works. Let's see, after that, vertical and horizontal. These are super useful. They're basically the same thing, but like a little bit different. And I commonly use these whenever I have to like make a hex shaft, for example. Because let's say that we have this here, a little hexagon, and I don't know, it's slanted or whatever. Well, if we go horizontal and we select a line, it will now flip it so that this line here is perfectly horizontal. Super duper useful. And you can really use this anywhere. It's extremely common because also if you, let's say you have a line like this, and then you have a square like this, and you want these to lie on the same line, instead of doing what I used to do, which is dimension it to 0, so now they lie like that, what you can do is you can do a vertical constraint, and you can do point to point, and now they lie on the same line. Sadly though, if you do vertical, it doesn't always work if you select the lines. Yeah, as you can see, adding this will over-constrain the sketch. So you want to go click the point to the point, not the line to the line, if you're trying to constrain two pieces together. Horizontal is the same, it's just for horizontality. Next up is tangent. This one here is also very useful. Whenever I make a hinge, I notice that I use this a lot. But let's say that we have here a box. We'll lock this so it doesn't fly around. A box and a circle. If we want the circle to be perfectly touching up against the edge of the box, we could set the circle tangent to the line. And we can do this again. We can maybe create a line down here, and we can say, I want to go and have the circle tangent to this line down here. Now it's like that. And this is just very nice to have. Fun fact is that and any circle that has 3 tangents will be fully constrained. So if I make a third tangent here, then this circle here is fully constrained in the purple color. So nice to have. This is just good to know about if you need to have something perfectly touching something. This also works for arcs as well, not just circles. Okay, next up here is going to be the smooth constraint. The way this works is that if you have 2 lines just like this, and then you go and create a spline. Where's this guy? Spline like this. I'll just do that. And you want to go and create it, make it smoother, you can go and select this tool and click onto these lines, and it will try to smooth it out. And as you can see, it's kind of weird. I personally have actually never used this. It's just kind of good to know if you ever have splines and you want to go and maybe make it look better, or maybe just want to see what it does. It just changes the geometry a bit, and it tries to make the line like kind of tangent with the line. So not very useful, but kind of good to know about. Okay, let's say that you have some stuff over on one side, just like this. You got some things over here. Let's lock them. And you want to go and take the same things on the other side, and you don't want to go and spend hours constraining each piece to each thing, and it takes forever. What you can do is you can go and create a line directly in between them, just like this. Then you can press the symmetry, and you can go and click on the 2 things that you want, and then the center line. And as you can see, it sets them perfectly symmetrical to one another. And after doing this, you can just go through and click everything that you need to. Oops, sorry. It gets a bit wonky when you have some like other shapes like that, but you can do circle, you can do center maybe. Yeah, and this just lets you go and constrain things way better. The reason that things are not all in purple is because I never constrained the center line, so let me do that. And now you can see that everything's constrained. If I wanted this here, I would have to go and click this center line. And now, as you can see, I just had to lock these parts or dimension them, and all of these here, they only take the constraint of the symmetry. Super duper useful, awesome to have. And then the final one is the equal constraint. And this here just sets lines and circles and arcs just to have the same radius. And I just like to use this whenever, like for example, I'm making like a grabby claw and I need like 13 different bearing holes. And I don't want to go through and say, this is 1.125, and this is 1.125. And I don't want to go through all of them and do that. I would just dimension one of them, and then just say equal, 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 oops, sorry, equal, equal, equal. And now all the holes are the same size, and it's less messy because you don't have like a trillion dimensions flying around. As I said, this also here works with lines, so if you have 2 lines like this, you can go equal and equal, so now they are the same length. And this is just nice to have if you ever want 2 lines to be the same length with a bit less work. And the final thing I would like to say, now that I've done with all this, is that when you make certain shapes, they come with constraints. Like for example, let me start a new sketch. When you start a new sketch, there's automatically going to be a point in the center. And this point here is automatically projected from the center. From there, if you go and create a circle starting at that point, then you'll notice that even without the dimension, I can't move it around. And that is because it auto-locks a point. So in this case, the inventor knew to do a coincident constraint, moving the center of the circle onto the center of the thing, or of the sketch. And like if you make a 2-point rectangle, you'll see that right here we have parallel constraint. Right here there's a parallel constraint, and here there's some point constraints here. Up here there's 3 constraints here, and this here, this is just so it's easier for you and you can do less work. Super nice to know though. If you ever make something and for some reason you can't move it, it's probably because Inventor decided to put a constraint on it anyways. For example, this line I just set down already has a horizontal constraint. So very good to know about. Super nice. Also, if you go up here, there is going to be Show Constraints button, and from here you can just click on what things you want shown, and it will just show you the constraints there are. So for example, this one here is a 90-degree, horizontal, parallel, parallel. Just nice to have in general. If you want to hide these, you can just go and press, I believe there's a hide constraint button hiding around. You can also just go and delete it and the constraints will disappear. But yeah, that's about it. Hope this helped you out. If you have any more tutorials that you want me to make just because you need to know something, please let me know. I'm always open to ideas, and thank you for watching. Have a nice day.